your memo and release yesterday in Jeffrey Epstein, it left some lingering mysteries. One of the biggest ones is whether he ever worked for a American or foreign intelligence agency. The former Labor Secretary, who was Miami U.S. Attorney Alex Acosta, he allegedly said that he did work for an intelligence agency. So could you resolve whether or not he did? And also, could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape of that instead?
Yeah, sure.
Could I just interrupt for 1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this, where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy.
Well, I think Grandpa doth protest too much. I'm sure he thinks that's gonna shut the whole thing up, but that freak out to me is just even more reason to believe that they're hiding something. Or at the very least, if you are inclined to believe that they're hiding something, why would this dissuade you from it? The fact that, well, we have Texas, so shut up about this creep. Are you still talking about this creep? Dude, you've been talking about this creep for years. Everyone around that table, many of them made their names talking about that creep for years, and now, done. Move on, we're not talking about it anymore because we've got such success. Also tragedy, everything's the best and the worst simultaneously, whatever it needs to be. So look, that's super suspicious, and to the very limited credit I will give some people in the MAGA movement, they are freaking out about what this seems to be, which is a massive betrayal of the conspiracy theory they've been trained to believe. And so we're gonna get to all of that. First here, Pam Bondi did eventually respond. Take a look.
In February, I did an interview on Fox, and it's been getting a lot of attention because I said, I was asked a question about the client list, and my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant by that. And the minute missing from the video, we released the video showing definitively. The video was not conclusive, but the evidence prior to it was showing he committed suicide. And what was on that, there was a minute that was off the counter. And what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every year, every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999. So every night the video is reset, and every night should have the same minute missing. So we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night. And that's it on Epstein.
Oh, I feel so much better about how clearly uncomfortable she is during that entire thing. She doesn't like any of this, partly because maybe they're covering it up, partly because she knows how much she talked about Epstein before. Okay, so every tape has a minute missing. Don't be suspicious. Every tape just has a minute missing, which is the hardest to believe thing in the world. Or maybe it's true, in which case, if there's actually a minute that apparently everybody involved in the prison system knows you're not gonna have video of, well, that seems like kind of a window that you could exploit if you had knowledge of it. Again, I'm not asserting that anything untoward happened. I just know that according to their cover story, the video they released isn't definitive, doesn't prove that nobody got in there. I'm not gonna go through all the evidence from the frame by frame of the video, but there's a lot of analyses online showing how little it actually shows and how many questions it actually raises about what's going on. Now she's saying we're gonna look for another tape. Well, then why did you release that tape? And why did you respond to a question about the client list with it's on the table if you just meant other paperwork? If at this point, years into the investigation, nearly 6 years after he died, there's no evidence of a client list at all, why are you not prepared to give it some caveats or something? You just, again, responded as if, sure, yeah, the client list is a thing, when evidently it had never ever been a thing. And so this is just, again, I'm not saying that they are definitely covering something up. I'm just saying it's like they're trying to generate furor online about a cover up. Sharon, what do you think?
Sorry, my daughter ordered DoorDash again without permission. Here's what I think. My first analysis is that Marco Rubio looked absolutely constipated. That's how uncomfortable he was in the middle of this sandwich here with the press asking these questions. Look, she's not being honest, and she wasn't being honest in the Fox News interview either. Okay, show us the information, because now I don't think it's a case of the cover up is bigger than what we'd find. But it's pretty big and it's pretty obvious, I think. So bravo, MAGA, conspiracy, investigators, whatever you want to call them. Let's keep going with this.
Yeah. Look, I will give my most honest take. I'm not saying I think Trump is definitely on there, or Bill Clinton is definitely on there, or some billionaire donor is definitely on there, or whatever. It's entirely possible that none of that is true. I will simply say, I find it very hard to believe that nobody else committed any crimes and there's no evidence of anything. I find that very hard to believe with how well connected he is and how many flights they took there and how many people we know were on those flights. There is not one fact that you did not know that is worth saying. That strikes me as unlikely. Again, I'm not saying Trump is on there. And by the way, even if it is a cover up, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a cover up because he's on there. Some people believe it could be a cover up because of other people that donate to the party or whatever, or other politicians are on there. But I will give one other explanation. I think maybe an even more plausible explanation as to why Donald Trump is reacting the way he is. When he's like, you're talking about this creep, which you have talked about. You've hyped it up. Everybody in your campaign, everybody in your cabinet, your Dan Bongino, your Kash Patel, your Pam Bondi, all of them, Laura Loomer, everybody around you has been talking about it nonstop, and you loved it. And now everybody needs to shut up. It could just be because he never believed any of it. He finds conspiracy theories useful for the rubes. It's red meat to give to these dumb donkeys that he doesn't care at all about. Yeah, go crazy. Oh, deep state. Oh, these pedophiles or whatever. Get out of here. I'm not gonna actually hang out with you. You just talk about that online. You believe that I'm the guy that's gonna solve it all and uncover it all. But now I'm in power. I don't care about that anymore. I never meant any of that. So can we move on to other stuff that I'm more interested in? Again, I'm not saying that's what it is. It could still be a cover up, but I think that's also a plausible explanation. It's just, he never really meant any of it, and he would prefer to not have to listen to your conspiratorial peasant talk anymore. I don't know.
Can I just say one other thing?
Sure.
I apologize. I think blackmail could very well have something to do with this. You mentioned big donors. You mentioned that he's probably not, he didn't do it alone. There's other people on this list, this Epstein, whatever orbit. And I just think that it would be like someone to shake down people who perhaps are mentioned, even in innocuous ways, or connected to Jeffrey Epstein. I think they'd have big money, and that could go a long way. But that maybe I'm just, going too far.
I think that's a possibility, and a bigger version of that we're gonna get to as part of their coping mechanism. But really fast, there are MAGA people online that are feeling very betrayed by this. All of them pay Elon Musk to be on Twitter. But anyway, some say things like, I'm MAGA. I'm very disappointed to see him mock the reporter speaking for the American people. And again, it's not like the reporter came up and was like, hey, Trump, are you on the list? It was a thing about national security, working with foreign governments. It was the easiest, lightest touch possible. And still Trump was freaking out about it. And so they're saying this is a gut punch for all us women that voted for him. This is the first gut punch to women that voted for Donald Trump. You're cool with all the other stuff, okay? Well, anyway, the Hodge twins said Trump telling everybody to just get over the Epstein list is a slap in the face to people that voted for him. He's done a lot of good things, but this is really bad, y'all, and we won't be quiet about it. And that might be true, and I know that because they never stop talking. But also, I have a feeling they'll still support him for the rest of their lives. But Chuck Colesta says Trump is the best president we have had, but man, is he handling the Epstein case poorly. He's great on all these things, but on this minor thing, where we've believed that there's an elite ring of pedophiles that are protected by those in power, and now Trump seems to be a part of that. The thing that formed like the philosophical basis of our entire movement for years. On that minor thing, he's not good, but other than that, he's great.